I think the Spartans are really great. I hate you. I was gonna call him my player of the week. Pick someone else.
Let's see the W. Let's see the W, Musa.
Ah!
Welcome back to Your Detroit Now. We got a great episode ahead of us talking Lions, Red Wings, Pistons, MSU football and basketball, and U of M football and basketball with a very special U of M college football game coming up next week. Musa, let's get into the show.
Let's get into it, Emilio. But before we get into things, it's been a while since producer Chris has done this. He got us a sponsor.
All right, producer Chris.
Producer Chris. DocShop Pro is the smarter way for medical practices to save money and manage misapplies. It works like Amazon-style marketplace made specifically for healthcare, giving clinics access to thousands of medical products at discounted prices with no membership fees. Practices can track their inventory, compare brands instantly, and reorder everything in one place. With dedicated support and even buy now pay later options, DocShop Pro makes running a medical office simpler, faster, and more affordable. Yeah, let's get into it. Lions 1 o'clock in alternate gear took on the New York Giants. Emilio, these teams look. I thought I was watching a 5-year-old football camp.
This was a weird game, but before we get too far into it, Musa, Jameis Winston, let's see the W. Let's see the W, Musa.
Once he hit W.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, starting quarterback for the New York Giants after Jackson Dart got hurt. Kind of an ugly game the whole way through. We saw a lot of bad out of the Lions. Slow start. But I'll let you start with your kind of thoughts, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I also thought this was a bad game. I was expecting way more from the offense and way less from the defense, but it just didn't happen. But we did make a comeback, but it came against one of the worst teams in the NFL, which didn't make it any better, but hey, we got the win.
Got the
Uh,
win. Lions went into the fourth quarter with the Giants at 27 points. Giants never scored after they reached 27 points from the third quarter.
Yeah, 100% agree. It was bad from both sides of each team, bad play calling. There was a lot of bad mistake by the Lions. But yeah, it's past is past, and we just gotta move on and worry about Thanksgiving on Thursday against the Packers.
You're right, but let's talk about the game leaders, Musa.
You're 100% right. Um, Passing leaders, Jameis Winston, wants to get a W. 18 for 36, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He had a great game. And yeah, he just had a great game. We certainly did not, and I'm happy for him.
Happy for
Jared,
Jameis Winston.
yeah. Jared Goff, 28 for 42, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Tyrone Tracy, 20 carries, 62 yards, 3.1 at yards per carry average. And here he comes. Here comes Sonic. Rushing leader, Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries, 219 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Emilio, this is the only thing you see in Madden. 15 carries, 219 yards. That's only what you see in Madden.
100% of Madden's stat line. And let's not forget his massive play in overtime. So the Lions only needed one overtime play. Jahmyr Gibbs, my player of the week, no doubt about it.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna be my player of the week as well. Um, he's really probably is the fastest running back in the NFL,
Definitely
and
feels like it.
that's why they call him Sonic. These stats are only in Madden, and he just brought them out of a video game. Wan'Dale Robinson, 9 receptions, 156 yards, and 1 touchdown. He had a great game. destroyed us all game.
I'll tell you what,
Uh,
Musa. One thing I regret is I had him on my fantasy bench. That was tough.
you know what? I regret I also had him on my fantasy bench. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 receptions, 149 yards, and 1 touchdown. Until I didn't realize he had this many yards until after the game. When I went into the stat lines, I did not think he had this much yards.
Same thing here.
Um, Darius Alexander, 2 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson, 1 sack, and that was the game winner in overtime.
Aiden Hutchinson with a game-saving sack when Jameis Winston was on fourth down.
I love this guy. I also love Jameer Gibbs. Dane Belton, 9 tackles for 4 solo, and Jack Campbell, 11 tackles for 5 solo. Pretty much great. And Amelia, I like to point something out. 3 minutes and 19 seconds into the game, the Giants were on our 4 yard line. You know what their percentage was of winning the game on that yard line with that much time?
What was it?
92.1. The Lions had a 7.9% chance of winning, and we came all the way back and won it in overtime with the game-winning sack.
Yeah, that was kind of incredible. That was a missed opportunity for sure by the Giants. They could have easily iced the game, especially with some poor play calling back on the Lions when we had the ball with a 3-point deficit. Some poor play calling and an unnecessary screen pass by Jared Goff made the field goal even further. But had the Giants kicked the ball, putting the point differential to 6, forcing the Lions to make a touchdown, this game could have been completely over. So Musa, that was very interesting, that thought process that the Giants had. Let's go into some of the team stats. New York Giants, 517 total yards versus Detroit's 494. Let's point something out real quick. 1,000 yards of total offense, Musa. This was a shootout.
That's crazy.
Both teams had a turnover. First downs, Giants had 25, Lions 23. Penalties, 7 for 59 versus the Lions 9 for 81. This is devastating. Third downs, 8 for 16 versus our 5 for 12. Not great. Fourth downs, 1 for 3 on the Giants versus us. Never had the chance. Red zone, 1 for 3 versus 2 for 4. In time of possession, remember, this is one Musa and I really look at, but it's very far skewed to the Giants' favor because of the overtime possession. 37-11 for the Giants versus 28-30 Detroit Lions. Like I said, very skewed in the Giants' favor because of that overtime possession. Jameer Gibbs only having 1 rushing touchdown to seal the Lions' victory there. But like I said, very interesting. One other thing I'd like to point out, Musa. Because the Lions won today, coming off their loss from the Eagles last week, today is the 1,120th day in a row that the Lions have not lost 2 back-to-back games. The Lions are the longest standing team to not lose twice in a row.
That is crazy, man. I really think Dan Campbell knows what he's doing. Conversions, he really knows what he's doing, and he's a spectacular coach.
100%, but this was an ugly game. We shouldn't be under the impression that we win and everything's fine. I feel like, the radio and some shows might say that, everything's okay and everything's fine. This was a very ugly game. I never thought we would lose this game, but man, I was nervous for next week the whole time. I did feel, and I think you'll like this analogy, Musa, I thought I was watching a Superman movie. No matter how bad things got, no matter how bad it was, I knew we'd win this game. I really did. But I was nervous for next week. So, like I said, I feel like I'm watching a Superman movie. Regardless of what happened, I knew we'd end up winning. But man, it was an ugly, ugly game. And this is going to really hurt us if we play like this next week.
Yeah, and by next week, you mean in 3 days on Thursday.
That's right, Thanksgiving game.
Thanksgiving, and it's just going to be an exciting game.
All right, Musa, that's all we got for football. Let's head over to the Pistons, where the Pistons are hot. 12-game win streak.
So exciting. The best team in the NBA. Well, it's biased if I say, but still, they're playing incredible.
It's either them or OKC. They're up 3 games in their conference, and they just played Milwaukee. Man, that was a blowout. I never felt like the Pistons were out of that one.
And blowout.
Let's talk about that game before we talk about their upcoming game.
The Pistons play the Milwaukee Bucks, and final score 129 to 116. That's incredible. Let's talk about some of the stats around the game. Here are the team stats. Field goal percentage, 63. Three-point percentage, 53. Turnovers, 14. And rebounds, 32. These are good stats, Emilio. Really good.
Great stats. Cade Cunningham, Detroit Pistons points leader with 29 versus Ryan Rawlings with 24 total points. When we go to rebounds, Cade Cunningham again, 8 rebounds versus Bobby Portis, 7 rebounds. Finally, assists, Cade Cunningham again, 10 assists versus Ryan Rawlings, 7 assists. Musa, Cade Cunningham is so dominant right now. Let's talk a little bit about his stats before we get too far into some of the Pistons stuff. He's averaging 27.4 points per game. He's averaging 9.9 assists per game, 29% from the three-point line and 44% from the field goal. Musa, he is 0.1% away on assists from averaging a double-double. He is right there.
That's crazy. In my vote, he's probably top 3 in the MVP race.
Oh,
Maybe
he's
even
got to be. Maybe 1 or 2, to be honest. He could be it.
He is an amazing player. And Emilio, I like to point something out. In this game, the lowest percentage we had against the Bucks, the lowest percentage we had was 62.8. We never went under 60%.
That is so exciting to see. Let's talk about next week, where the Pistons have a 72% chance of winning by ESPN's metric. They go in as a minus 9.5 point favorite with a total of 234.5. Pistons are minus 400 on the money line as well. Exciting game. Pascal Siakam is their points leader with 24.8 averaged points per game. So, Musa, I'm excited to see that, but I want to get your take on this. How far can the Pistons go before they lose? Looking at their schedule, what is the first game that concerns you?
I would say maybe against the Boston Celtics, maybe.
I was looking at that one. I think we can get away with that one before. The one that concerns me most, November 29th, we play Miami Heat. They're 11-6 and first in the Southeast Division. That's the one that concerns me. That's the one I'm actually most excited about. But I am looking at that Boston Celtics one just like you are as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think the Miami Heat are going to be the hardest game going to come up.
Agreed. Musa, before we jump off the Pistons train here, what is the ceiling for the Pistons? How far do you think these guys can go?
I hope we can go maybe 54 wins, maybe 56.
Love to see a deep run in the playoffs. We got out in the first round of the playoffs last year by the Knicks. I think a deep playoff run this year would not surprise anybody.
Now let's jump into college basketball, where we'll be talking about MSU versus Kentucky. Miller, would you like to start us off?
100%. The State Farm Championship, MSU versus Kentucky. Exciting victory for the Spartans. Let's get into the numbers a little bit. Spartans won 83-66 over the Kentucky Wildcats. Spartans came into the game at a 20% chance of winning. That quickly flipped into the Spartans' favor late into the first half and never went back. Once the Spartans were projected to win, they never lost it. 50% from the field goal, 50% from the three-point line, 13 turnovers, that's a lot, but 42 rebounds. We talked last week, the chance for the Spartans to win came by second chance shots, rebounds, and limiting the turnovers. They didn't limit turnovers, but man, did they get a lot of second chance shots. Jackson Kohler, 20 points for the Spartans. Jeremy Fierce Jr., 6 rebounds. Finally, Jeremy Fierce Jr. with 13 assists. Great game for the Spartans all around. They played Detroit Mercy after that. A blowout win, The next game that the Spartans play that I am circling my calendar for, North Carolina, where the Spartans currently have a 56.1% chance of winning. That's going to be an exciting game. But Musa, Spartans are playing good basketball. That's exciting to see, considering the football program has been so bad. It gives the students something to look forward to.
I might agree with you with that. I think the Spartans are really great, and I think they really care about their basketball team. And yeah, I just think they're going to be a really good team this year. That was weird coming out of my mouth.
I'll take it though. Ranked 17, this makes our head-to-head matchup coming later in January much, much more exciting.
Well, let's head over to UofM basketball, which is way better than MSU basketball. The Michigan Wolverines took on the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, 86-61. That's a blowout. Currently, they're still seventh ranked. They are 4-0, 2-0 at home. And let's get into some of the stats in the game. Team stat, field goal percentage, 46, 3-point percentage, 20, turnovers, 13, and rebounds, 48, which is way better than MSU. That is incredible to have 48 rebounds.
Musa, we played Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Who did you guys
Still,
play? Who have you played this season so far? You're going to be 5 games in before you play your first real opponent.
still ranked higher than you.
Allegedly. That is going to change quickly.
Sure. Let's get into some of the stats in this game. Yaxel Lendenborg, 9 for 12 on his field goal, 5 for 5 on his 3 throws. Yaxel Lendenborg again with 10 defensive rebounds and 2 offensive rebounds, making 12 rebounds. And again, Yaxel Lendenborg, 3 assists with 28 minutes. I mean, this is really, really great. I'm looking forward to how this season is gonna go.
Musa, the one thing I'm most shocked on is how did you let Middle Tennessee get 40 rebounds?
I don't know. They're probably, yeah. I'm still shocked to see that too. 40 rebounds. We still had 8 more, and we still never went below 88% chance of winning.
That's true. Let's kick it off to the Detroit Red Wings. Red Wings are first in the Atlantic Division. Let's go Red Wings.
Let's go. But the
Let's-
record probably doesn't make it better. 13-8-1.
Not a great record, but doesn't matter, man. First in the Atlantic Division. Let's talk a little bit about the standings. They're currently 1 point ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Their home record is 8-4. Away is 5-4. The point differential is -4. Things are trending in the right direction. Last week it was -6. The home record was a worse percentage. The away record was a worse percentage. They are winning recently. They're playing good hockey. They just are coming off a win against the Columbus Blue Jackets, 4-3. This is an exciting game. This is an exciting time to be a Detroit sports fan.
It's really great. And next game is going to be against the New Jersey Devils tomorrow at 7 p.m. We're looking forward to that game.
That's right. Red Wings are currently plus 1.5 goals with a money line of plus 125. So Red Wings are not favored to win this, as this will be away, but Red Wings are playing pretty good hockey. I think they have what it takes to come out with a win here. We're going to come back with a more in-depth review next week. As we have been saying for weeks, Thanksgiving time is the great checkpoint for hockey.
It's really great. I agree with you. Well, we're going to be talking something for the first time ever. We're going to be talking about college hockey, where we will talk about the U of M big win against Ohio State, 8-1.
That is a huge, huge point differential in hockey.
And that is really great. We beat the 5th seed Penn State. We beat the 10th seed Wisconsin. We beat Notre Dame. We beat number 2 Western Michigan. Or we beat one win, 1 loss, but still. It's really, really, really great. And when you come off with your biggest rival 2 games in a row, that is really, really, really great. On November 28th, we will be versing Harvard.
I saw that, but the one I'm circling my calendar for is December 5th. You're coming to the Mun Ice Arena playing MSU.
And December 6th, you will be coming to Ann Arbor.
That'll be exciting. Musa, let's head over to MSU hockey. Spartans are playing some pretty good hockey here, Musa, sitting at a 9-3 record, 4-2 in the conference. Let's talk a little bit more about our stats here. Team's currently averaging 3.5 goals per game. Their shot percentage is .09. Spartans are playing good hockey, though. Like I said, really circling my calendar for December 5th against the Wolverines.
And I'm circling for December 6th. All right, let's go to MSU football.
All right, Musa, let's talk MSU football. Spartans are tied for last place in the Big Ten standings. The only reason we are not dead last is our points for. We have roughly 30 more points than Purdue, but that's a low spot to be. Musa, are we Purdue?
No, you're worse than Purdue.
It feels like it. Let's talk about our most recent game against Iowa.
At one point in this game, you guys were up 17-7.
Musa, we're talking about percentage chance of winning. At one point in this game, we had a 92% chance of winning.
That's embarrassing, man. Have a 92% chance and selling it and let Iowa make a comeback.
Musa, we scored 17 total points. We did this in the third quarter. After our last touchdown, we had 4 more possessions. Can I tell you what we did in those 4 possessions?
What?
3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and a 4-play drive.
That's great.
Isn't that just what you want to see? First real chance to win a game in the last 8 games, and you blow it.
I know that's really, really, really bad. I also like to put something out. You guys are 3-8, 0-8 in the Big Ten, and on an 8-game losing streak. You're coming off Maryland, who roughly almost made a really good game against Michigan. Do you think you guys are ending this year with 3-9, with a 3-9 record, 0-9 in the Big Ten, and on a 9-game losing streak?
I have no doubt in my mind that is what's going to happen. I would be shocked if we pulled out a win here. And I'd be shocked if this win is able to save Jonathan Smith's career. Not calling for his job, but I do think he's out the door already. I think he's at the point where he's scanning his badge, and it's day by day. If it turns green, he keeps his job, and if it turns red, that's how he finds out he's fired. I am shocked if Jonathan Smith is able to keep his job after this one.
Might as well let him play coach one more game and then fire him after the season.
Of course, let him finish out the season, but man, this feels like I used the superhero analogy for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to do the same thing, but this is the supervillain side. I felt like no matter how good this game was, I knew it was coming to an end. I knew we were going to lose. I had zero faith, especially when we went 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 4-play drive. So it was unlike the Lions. The Lions, I knew we were going to win at some point. It just needed enough time. This one, I knew we were going to lose at some point. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah. Emilio, why don't you head us over to the game leaders?
100% Musa. Alessio Milivojevic, 255 passing yards. He got the start today. Brandon Trulis with 56 rushing yards. Jack Villing with 88 receiving yards. Quinion Dunning with 1 sack. And Wayne Matthews III with 9 tackles for 7 solo. Let's talk about the team stats real quick. 335 total yards, 1 turnover, 19 first downs, 1 for 10 on penalties. That's pretty good, Musa.
It's pretty good.
4 for 15 on third downs, 0 for 1 on fourth downs, and 30-20 versus 29-40 time possession. This game is over. I don't want to talk about it anymore. We'll talk about Maryland next week, but I am honestly excited for the Spartan season to be over. This is devastating to watch.
It's pretty impressive to have 1 penalty the entire game.
That was about the only bright side of the game.
It's also pretty impressive to have to let the offense have 1 first down and have 10 conversions and only let them convert 1 of them.
That's true. Are you saying something nice about MSU, Musa?
Yeah, I might puke. The Michigan Wolverines took on the Maryland Terrapins 45-20. Utterly shut out. We embarrassed them. This was a great game.
This was exciting to watch.
And I was really happy how Jordan Marshall didn't play when he injured his shoulder. If Justice Haynes isn't coming back, save Jordan Marshall for next week. And we'll talk about next week. Don't spoil anything. But this was really great. Let's get into some game leaders around the game. Bryce Underwood, 16 for 23, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Malik Washington, also a freshman, 19 for 39, 210 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. And I like to say something. This was our first game with an interception since Washington. You know how long Washington was?
How
A
long
month.
ago was that?
A month ago.
Wow.
That's really great to have a pick sent over for since a month. Bryson Cuzcall, third a string running back. He's going for 20 carries, 100 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 5 yards per carry. Really great. Dijon Williams, 12 carries for 40 yards. Andrew Marsh, 5 receptions, 76 yards, 1 touchdown. This guy is incredible. Shaylee Knotts, 4 receptions for 82 yards. Josiah Barham, 1 sack. Sidney Stewart, also 1 sack. Mason Curtis, 6 tackles for 2 solo. And Le'Veon Scruggs, 8 tackles for 5 solo. Let's get some of the team stats in the game. 443 total yards to 347 for Maryland. Michigan penalties, 4 for 30. Maryland penalties, 4 for 40. Michigan, here's the one where I'm really happy about. Michigan, 12 for 14 on third downs to Maryland, 5 for 14.
Now that
Mich-
is an incredible stat.
that is really great. Michigan, fourth downs, we never had a chance. Maryland, fourth downs, 2 for 4. And Michigan time of possession, 35 minutes and 38 seconds to Maryland time of possession, 24 minutes and 22 seconds. Emilio, this was awesome. I was really happy about this game. And I was really pretty much happy that Bryson Cusco had a great game so that Jordan Marshall didn't have to play a single snap to save him for next week.
And I think those team stats that you just read off tell the story of the game. 440 plus total yards, 27 first downs, 12 for 14 on third downs. That is how you score 45 points, Musa.
You should take notes and tell that to Jonathan Smith and how he should actually coach in his game.
If I had his number, I'd tell him that a long time ago. All right, Musa, tell us about next week.
So you guys were probably wondering, oh, why they skip college football and waited for last? Because if you know ball, you know that next week is gonna be the greatest game in probably the greatest game in 2025 for football. Everybody, the Michigan Wolverines and Ann Arbor, 12 p.m., November 29, will be taking on the number 1 seed Ohio State Buckeyes. The game in the big house.
This is getting very exciting. We're already seeing the commercials, seeing some on Fox Sports. We're seeing some on CBS. We're seeing commercials for this game. People are getting hyped, Musa. Let's take it away. Give us some thoughts.
I don't know how we win 4 games in a row. And last year we had a quarter of a roster. We had 2 of our best players out, Colson Loveland, Will Johnson. And somehow we have a 21.8% chance of winning. That is dumb.
But Musa, these stats don't matter too much because this is a rivalry game. The money line is even turned off.
Yeah, but
Musa, what's Ryan Day's record against the Wolverines?
1-4.
What is Ohio State's record against unranked opponents?
So last year, before the Michigan game, they were on a 50-game winning streak against unranked opponents. They were 50-0. After the game, they were on a losing streak with one against unranked opponents against the Michigan Wolverines.
So they're 50-1 against unranked opponents. I feel like this game could go anywhere. It would be super exciting if the Wolverines can get a victory out of this. I'm rooting for the Wolverines, and you're never out of it. In this game, you're never out of it if last year was evidence.
Go Blue. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Come watch our next video. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving. And this is Your Detroit Now.